black man in DC, and the crisis, we will welcome a great leader, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz.
All right. All right. All right.
All right, give yourself a clap, please. All right. Giving honor to God, I bear witness that regardless to land, label, or language, that there is but one God.
Amen.
Yes. That's right.
Sisters and brothers, if we search the text of the scripture, we can find no other people that fit the description of the lost brother or the lost sheep than we, the black man and woman in the wilderness of North America. The scriptures say we've been lost of our name, lost of our language, lost of our religion, our culture, and our God. And many of us, by the way we act, we've even lost our mind. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum. Come on, let me hear y'all. Assalamu alaikum. Hotel. Praise the Lord. And black power.
And black power.
Okay. Getting right down to business here, I know you've heard a lot today, and you've heard a lot of testimony. And I really don't come here to give a speech, more so than to take an assessment and lay a foundation and put in place some real solutions if we want those solutions. I believe we want those solutions and we have to have them. The reason why this forum has been brought together and this meeting has been brought together is because of the crisis that we're facing in this city. And the crisis in this city and this region, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. The crisis in housing, the crisis in gentrification, the crisis amongst black men, the crisis amongst our youth, the crisis amongst our people, the crisis in the confidence of black women to believe that we can take care of them in this hour. This is a crisis.
Okay.
This is a crisis. And I'm almost starting to fear that many of us have given up. But I'm here to let you know that I haven't given up.
That's right.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
I haven't given up on you and I haven't given up on our people, but I know that we're on emergency time right now.
That's right. That's right.
We were here 10 years ago. We were actually here in December of 2013 for this same forum. And we can't repeat what we did 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we expressed our grievances. 10 years ago, we expressed our concerns, our frustrations. As a matter of fact, this has not been a subject for 10 years. I can take you back to the 1990s. I can take you back to the 1990s and show that we have been warning about this crisis since the 1990s. In the 90s, we warned that there was a conspiracy to destroy and dismantle the black population in the District of Columbia. In the 90s, we warned that the Federal City Council, the National Capital Planning Commission, and the powers that be have designed and hatched a plan to dismantle our population, to remove our population, and to gentrify this city and ultimately destroy what you know and knew as Chocolate City. Okay? And it has happened. It is not to happen. It is not going to happen. It is not about to happen. But our population and our people have absolutely been removed from this city physically. They have been removed from this city politically.
Yep.
We have been removed from this city in terms of homeowners. We have been reduced to a population of renters on the run. Renters on the run from developers. Renters on the run from foreign entities that have no interest in this city. And we are being driven out of here like roaches.
Oh, yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to bring you down too much, because my job would be to lift you up. However, we must have an honest assessment. I have some remedies, I have some solutions, but those of you who are left, you must be prepared for warfare. We are still 45% of the population in this city. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We are still 45% of the population in this city. Even though they say that we are no longer an ethnic majority in this city. We're 45% of the population in the district. But you know, there's an axiom that remains true. An organized minority and a determined minority can outstrip and overdo and disorganize a majority.
That's right.
Now, we used to be the majority, and whites in this city used to be the minority. But they are well-organized, well-funded, well-supported, backed-up, gentrifying minority. And that gentrifying minority, through power, through skill, through favor, through trickery, through deceit, through conspiracy, have managed to overthrow and overtake the former majority, making the majority now a minority. And this minority is not an organized 45% minority.
That's right.
It's a disorganized minority. We have the population to now dig in and seize some power. We have the power to dig in and get down like a defensive line and put up some defense in the areas that we still maintain control over, or at least live in. I don't know about control, but we still have some power.
That's right.
We still have power. I need you to know that we still have some power.
That's right. That's right.
But I can tell by your level of enthusiasm that you're like in the hospital, and your vital indicators, what they call your level of homeostasis, your overall level of well-being is going down. We said it here before. We said that in the scripture, Jesus says, the black Christ and the black Messiah, he said in the scripture, I must do the work of he that sent me
That's right.
while it is still day, because the night cometh when no man can work.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Has the night come? Is there room for work left? Have we reached the end time of what we call black empowerment in the district, or have we conceded the district and thrown up the white flag?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. No
There's no
surrender.
difference
No surrender.
whether you hear or you listen,
No surrender.
whether you in Maryland or Washington, D.C. We all have a vested interest in black status and black empowerment in the district.
That's right.
You have a vested interest. Even if you are listening or wherever you are, if you're in Maryland right now, and say, well, Prince George's County is one of the wealthiest counties in America. It's Prince George's County. Where did you get that wealth from, Prince George's County?
DC.
Where did you get that status from,
Black
Prince
man.
George's County? You didn't get that from the Prince George's County executive office out there in Upper Marlboro. You didn't get them jobs and them contracts out there in Prince George's County, working it from Prince George's County. You got that from working inside of the District of Columbia. You got that from the legacy of Marion Barron.
That's right.
I'm gonna come back and thank everybody here. I see many greats here that I see here. I'm going right to my subject, and I'm coming back to thank everybody, but I'm inclined to get right to the point. Because I'm concerned. And so what I'm saying here is that Prince George's County and those around this area in Virginia, you can't get safe and relaxed and think that you have made it while the black population of the district, the black power of the district, the black influence of the district is under attack and being decimated. If it dries up and goes to hell here, it's going to dry up in Prince George's County. It's going to follow into the same hell.
That's right.
If black empowerment, black people in the district, black business, black contracts, black entrepreneurs go down the drain in the district, you're going down the drain in the regional area. We have one people and one struggle.
That's right.
One God,
One God.
one aim,
One name.
and one destiny.
And one destiny.
On one hand, these are just lines that are put on the map by the colonizer. Southern Avenue, there's a line between the district and Maryland. Cross over 395 going this way, there's another line. Now you're into Virginia. Well, you say, I'm from Prince George's County. Well, another Negro say, well, I'm from Fairfax. And another Negro say, well, I'm from Northwest, I'm from Southeast. Let me tell you this. When it comes to the map of white racism and white supremacy, we all Negroes.
Hey. Yes, sir.
We are going to have to band together in an intelligent way, and we must band together in an intelligent way, and we must lay that path tonight. Whoever willing, we must lay that foundation, and I come to help lay that foundation with whoever so will tonight. I want to thank those that have been concerned enough to take a stand tonight, who haven't given up. I want to thank my brother, Kimon Freeman, who I personally believe to be the next United States congressperson representing the District of Columbia. He has the spirit, he has the heart, he has the community involvement, he has that new generational spirit that we need, and we need him in office if we're serious about making change in this city.
That's right.
I need you to go to polls with Brother Freeman.
Brother Freeman, all right.
I'm happy to be working with Brother Ian Campbell. They tell me he's giving some great insight today. And he's a great partner of mine. A great lobbyist. He knows about lobbying and politics and getting action in this city council. I'm coming to it in a minute. I hear Imam Akbar here, and I want to thank Imam Akbar for everything that he's done today. He's my brother. I've struggled with him a long time. He's much needed in this fight. Brother John Cheeks, longtime reparations fighter, is here.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Leon.
Yeah.
Honorable Pastor Ted Sutton from Baltimore.
All right.
Give this Sutton a big round of applause.
All right.
And here he is, the Honorable, my big brother, our elder. He is a man that has always, he's been here.
Yes, he is.
When we need him most, he's here. When we need a spiritual word, he's here. When we need love and embracing, when we're in trouble and when we are in crisis, he's here.
Yes.
When we need a place to speak unapologetically black, he's here. When we are confused and when we are hurt, he has been here. And he is an elder and a big brother to many others, and he has been a friend to me and to us. I'm talking about the Honorable Willie F. Wilson.
Come on, Mr. Wilson. Come on, Mr. Wilson. All right.
Yeah.
Come on, stand up so we can see you. Come on.
Give it to him.
Yes, sir.
Let's bring him on up. And Reverend Hagler, let's bring these men up to the roster, please.
Yes, sir. Up, up, up. My man, come on up front.
Sinclair. All right, so.
Go that way.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir. Go that way.
Okay, so let me move faster now. Now that I know all that, I got some divine backup. I need those two. Yes, ma'am.
Right here. Get up. Right there.
I want to thank the Afrodescendant nation who I'm a part of. I want to thank the Honorable Silas Muhammad. I want to thank Brother Minister Najee Muhammad, his chief minister. I want to thank Sister Salia Muhammad. And before I go further, I want to present a certificate of lifetime achievement in the struggle to our champion and to a stalwart in this city, the Honorable Willie F. Wilson. I want you to stand up. Can't say enough about him. And now also, before I go further, and then we share in this roster, I want to thank another freedom fighter from uptown. He's fighting all around town. And he's fighting on so many issues. There's a terrible genocide going on in Palestine. Terrible genocide going on over there. And he speaks up about it, and he organizes about it. And he speaks up for our people all the time. And I appreciate him, and I know we appreciate him. And I want to give another Lifetime Achievement and Struggle Award to Reverend Graydon Hagler.
All right, Greg. Yes, sir. right.
All right, y'all, buckle time. Now that I know I got some great preachers coming behind me, let me try to focus in and get down to business. Okay. So, we can't give up hope. We won't give up hope.
That's right.
How many of you agree that in this city that there's a crisis in affordable housing? Raise your hand. How many of you agree that in this city that there is a crisis in terms of overdevelopment and gentrification?
All of us should raise our hand.
How many of you agree that in this city there's a crisis amongst black men asserting themselves and providing leadership that the black family, black women and children can rely on to defend us and protect us? How many agree that this is a crisis?
That's it.
Okay?
It is.
How many of you agree that there's a crisis amongst the so-called well-to-do amongst us? Those that have made it and earned and made it, not caring enough about the other brothers and sisters who live in the city who have not made it. Is that a crisis?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, the nature of, I think one thing that we just need to be reminded of, as the Honorable Francis Cress Wilson teaches us, there's the white-black dynamic is problematic in and of itself. That we didn't make this history. We have suffered this history. But it is a factual history that whether you talk about gentrification, integration, or almost any other kind of black-white cooperation, that whenever whites come in contact with blacks, as a rule, the black man and woman are the loser. All right. When the colonized, or free people really, come in touch with the colonizer, the free people become the colonized when interacting with the colonizer. And that's what's happening here. As friendly as we want to make this out to be, and as nice as we want to be in the district, we have been colonized out of the district and are being colonized out of the district by a dog-walking, bike-riding colonizer.
Yes, sir.
And because we won't have leadership either out of office or in office that will stand up to this crisis and say it like it is, and because they want to be friends with everybody, being friends with everybody, including the colonizer, has put us in a position of being colonized and driven out of this city. It is a shame, my sisters and brothers, that other cities such as Chicago have city councils that have passed formal anti-gentrification legislation to deal with this issue. The District of Columbia is the #1 city in the country under gentrification. We have earned that. It's going from Chocolate City to... But it is a tragedy, and it is going to change when no legislation has crossed this city council that specifically deals with gentrification and stopping the multitude of gentrified attacks on our people in this city. The city council is responsible for failing to enact anti-gentrification legislation, and we as non-elected officials are responsible for not organizing ourselves and beating the hell out of the city council for not putting that kind of legislation to protect our people.
All right. They ain't doing
We
nothing.
have not held them accountable. You get a little lightweight, half-hearted affordable housing bill. We got to put a little affordable housing. And strict and low in the city. Okay? So, that is one thing. As I move forward, bring on these other breaks. And then we're going to talk. We got to get in this session and get down. It's good to see you, Imam Ali. Have you spoken? Imam Ali is one of the final hopes out here. One of the final hopes here. Okay, now, the development is absolutely out of control.
Yes, it is.
I've never seen a
They
situation
building stuff.
where almost any developer can build or develop anything he wants,
Yeah.
anywhere they want, anyhow they want, and they just sweep us out like this.
Yes, sir. He was right out.
Is that right?
That's right.
Condos everywhere,
Yes, sir.
high-rises everywhere,
Yes, sir.
and you've lost your favorite establishments, lost your Horace and Dickens, lost your places that used to define your culture, lost most of your go-go music, lost what defines you. And you got a bunch of tax shelter buildings up here, half of them empty. Bunch of big buildings running around here in the community. And most of the owners and developers don't even live around here.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
Not even from here.
That's right.
And we must put a stop to it. We must put a stop to it. You can call us naive. You can call me naive, you can call us naive. But we are organizing for, calling for, we want and we demand a moratorium on all construction and development in the District of Columbia. We want a ban on all construction and development in the District of Columbia until the rules are set out fairly.
That's right. That's it.
We want to organize a referendum, legislation, court attack, however it is. All building and construction in the District of Columbia must stop until we can rewrite the rules. That's the hard line that we are here to take. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
We're saying that we as a black community, a 45% block, that's not bad. A 45% block that we must take action to block further construction, block further development, block these permits, block all building until the people can affirm that the building is in our favor and it's not building on top of our heads and driving us into the ground and driving us out of here.
That's right. That's right.
A moratorium. A constitutionally mandated moratorium to be achieved by referendum, legislation, or by other means. What do you mean by other means, Mr. Shabazz? You know, there was a site here right around the corner that Bazzuto built right here on Martin Luther King. It was a rare instance where we caught a hold of one of these developers and took some action that I think was a good sign. They were in the middle of building the ground floor where the Starbucks is and the building goes way up on top, right? Typical action in the District of Columbia. But we got a call and some other brothers and sisters that was in Moording and working in Moording and we were in the movement for Black Power and we teamed up to deal with Bazzuto because they were not only not treating our people fairly, they just needed to be stopped. What happened? We went to work in those streets, it was a few years ago, and they had all their cranes out, they had all their workers out, they were running that site and building their gentrification tower. But when we, meaning some of you out here, when we took to those streets, Mr. Cheeks also, when we took to those streets, when we stopped those cranes, when we stopped those cement trucks, when we put a stop to that site for over a week, when we saw those laborers, we ran the laborers off the job. Hell, it wasn't from here anyway.
Good for you.
They wasn't from Washington, D.C.
Right.
Come back to that. But we shut it down. We did what?
Shut it down.
We did what?
Shut it down.
No, in fact, we shut it down. It was 11 a.m. in the morning in the middle of their busiest work days when we converged on them and we stopped the site and we shut it down. We turned the concrete trucks away. We turned the laborers out. Everybody threw their tools home and went home. That was a sign. Now what happened after that is another story. But that was a sign. Two cover signs. We must be willing to stick it out all the way. And if we get to a point where we start leveraging power, shutting down construction sites, stopping these capitalist, rich, blood-sucking developers from taking over this city, then none of us can sell out the cause. None of us can take a back with the None of us can try to go in a room and to try to get a few bucks or a few dollars in order to keep the man from building, as long as they give you a contract, as long as they give you a few dollars. It's okay if they take the rest of us out. That won't be happening. But we can bring development, overdevelopment, to a halt in this city by several means necessary. And we're willing to get it done by any means necessary. That's one. A moratorium on all development in the District of Columbia. How many agree with that?
I agree.
Meaning that if you don't approve it, it doesn't get built. Because right now they are building you out of here. Number two, well, what we said, anti-gentrification legislation, which has guarantees against displacement. Black contractors, black business in this city. Let's look at it. Brother Sinclair Skinner, come on now, man. I love black people. Sinclair Skinner, let's give him a round of applause. One of our greats here.
Yes, sir.
One of our greats. All right, so let me move, because I'm trying to get right to the core points that can move us forward here. This is hardly a speech, but this is more so like a policy meeting, okay? Right. This is a policy meeting where we're gonna confer and we must move the ball. There will be no tomorrows. Okay, we can't afford just to have grievances. We can't afford just to be mad. We can't afford just to object and be out here. We have to take action that is definitive to show that we are about self-determination. Because if we are not about self-determining what's going to happen to us, we are forever going to be victims of a colonizer, and I'm not going to allow it to happen, and you're not going to allow it to happen, and you are not going to allow these elders to work all these years for this cause and to see this happening in front of their face. We're not going to let it happen.
That's right. That's right.
the career of Reverend Willie Wilson, Reverend Haggard, and others who have given their lives in this city. Black contractors, how much is being built in this city? How many billions of dollars are being spent for development? We're not fools. We are not against all development. We are against development that doesn't crush us. But the development that we are for, what are we getting out of that development or the development in this city? All of this asphalt and roads being built, all of these construction contracts in this city, all of these projects and stadiums being built, how much is the black contractor, the black electrician, the black repairman, the black developer, how much is black business getting out of the development in the District of Columbia and these surrounding areas?
5 to 10 million.
You need to ask it in percents. You 45% of the population, are you getting and obtaining in your businesses, in your contracts, in your contracting, your black contractors and laborers getting 45% of the benefits of this development?
Nope.
And if so, why not? When I said that construction site we shut down, what did you holler out there? You said that the laborers wasn't from here. That's true. I don't want to get into any Donald Trump type xenophobia. But I would be remiss to you to say that everything being built inside of the city and in this region should first go to the black man and the woman who were born here and live here. We should be the first ones getting the development contract, the first ones getting the asphalt, the first ones laying the concrete, the first ones doing the plumbing, the first ones doing the electricity, and that half of every dollar that goes for building around here, if we approve of it, it's got to go in our pockets and it's got to go to our community. And that's a major problem.
That's right.
And so, 50% of all construction dollars must come back to the black community and to black contractors and to black business, and we must be uncompromising in that regard. They have taken hundreds of millions from us right now.
Yes, sir.
Hundreds of millions from us right now. And I don't want to hear that we don't have a black qualified contractor. I don't want to hear that we don't have black qualified concrete layers and brick masons. And if we lack some of them skills, then we need reparations, and the District of Columbia should be willing to finance to train every young black man in this city to not have to use his hands on a gun or a weapon, but to help us, to help train these men to know how to build for themselves, plumb for themselves, drywall for themselves, and let them learn how to use the skills that they have in our hands in the spirit of Booker T. Washington to build around here. This should be built by our people.
That's right.
And we are willing to train these men, but they must be trained. And we must have our percentage of this development.
That's right.
These are my opening statements and my opening positions as I prepare to move on this program. But we must have a change. We are here because we are advocating a coalition. A coalition that doesn't wipe out or disturb any other coalition. But I'm saying that our hope here is working together in unity. In unity. There's not much that I can do as an individual or committee or with an organization that we have. There's a limited amount that we can do.
That's right.
However, we are calling now on the best and the brightest and the strongest leadership in this area, in the DMV area, to unite around these issues, to form a coalition around these issues, to take action on these issues. And if we take action, we can effectively represent this 45% so-called minority in the district. And we can become a powerful bloc. We must have reparations. They have robbed us in this city. They are robbing us right now. They're driving us out and robbing us, and they owe us. And we got to raise our voices loud and strong and be organized. As a lawyer, I'm planning on doing my part. As an organizer, the Afrodescendant nation is going to do our part. The Black men's movement is going to do our part. We are committed to working with these other greats and these other giants to form a critical coalition that can move and act and take care of these problems. Institute this moratorium. Institute our mandates on black contractors. And lastly, black men. Yeah, we're here. We're here saying that the black man in the District of Columbia, it's your final call. That they have done everything they can in this city to strip the manhood from the black man in this city. This city was known for strong black men.
That's right.
Known for strong black male assertive figures. And today you don't know what you're dealing with. Is that right?
That's right.
I have here every Thursday night, right over here on 2900 Nelson Place, 29 working on the black man. And we need every brother here who feels what I'm saying. Every brother here who feels what I'm saying. Us here who are working with the black men's movement. We need you now to contact us and join with us so that as black men we can take responsibility for what is happening in our area. Because it's embarrassing to me. I have to sit down, if I have to sit down, which is rare, I don't hardly sit down with a police officer at all because I'm a lawyer that sues police. But in a rare occasion where I've sat down with the police, 6th District Commander hit me. I had to be honest with the commander. The police, you have your job to do, which ain't connected to my job. You have your job to do. But you, Commander, cannot do our job.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
You can carry out the laws or whatever your mandate is to stop crime in the District of Columbia. But you as a commander cannot be a mentor and a father to black men in our community. That's my responsibility, sir. And that's our responsibility and not yours.
Come on now.
That's right.
And the mayor Bowser is not going to clean up black youth and stand up black youth in this city. The city council and the police department will never, ever be able to get a hold on black young men in this city. That is our responsibility. And if they are running around wild and killing, whether they are our children or not, they are our responsibility. And we have a structure here to deal with that issue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many black men commit themselves to working amongst the youth in the city, whether they're your children or your sons or not? How many men commit?
Not too many.
All right. That's my foundation. I've overdone my time. We're going to hear opening statements from others, and then we're going to interact with you. We're going to get a grip on this problem. And so I bring to you now the leader of this house, who has been so kind to allow us to meet here and to organize here. I want to bring on to you a man that you know he's a legend in this city, but I want us to honor the fact that he is a legend in this city by making a self-determination statement that we are going to revive our spirits, we're going to plant our feet, and we're going to stand up in this city and in this area. Do I have your commitment?
Yes.
Are you going to take a stand?
Yes.
Are you going to back down?
No.
If you get good leadership, will you support this leadership?
Yes.
I bring to you our elder, the Honorable Willie F. Wilson, the leader and the builder of this house.
All right. All right.
Let me give honor to God first for this blessed privilege to be here and to follow after our dear brother who has made a call that must be heeded lest we no longer exist in this city. I want to, if you give me about 10 minutes, I want to talk about history. And to relate the fact that history is the past, the present, and the future. It is my understanding of history that over 40 years ago, I made the call in this neighborhood, this community, for every homeowner to hold on to their property, and for those who did not have property, to get property. Because in my understanding of history, and I saw a statement posted on social media the other day, it said, we study black history when we need to study white history. The history of white people, which is why, and I have to ask you this question, why do you think a business owner with a pizza shop would make a dessert and put some powdered sugar in a plastic bag in front of the dessert and call it Marion Berry dessert? 10 years after one of the greatest black men in the history of our people has been dead for 10 years.
Yeah.
And yet, that was done. It was done because as we study the history of white people, whenever black people have tried to rise, whenever black people have tried to progress, white people, because of what they think, devise ways and means to destroy those efforts and those people.
Yes, they do.
It's the same sense in which, and I suspect, which is why this call is so important today, because I saw even as some were beginning to raise some concerns about what was done in terms of naming that dessert Marion Berry dessert, I saw black people posting on social media, that pizza is good, and I'm going to get me some this evening. It's the same thing that occurred when I shut down this carryout right there at the corner of Good Hope, now Marion Berry Avenue and 14th Street. 47-year-old black mother had a gun pulled on her by a Korean owner of that shop. She ran down to the church, had a heart attack. I went down there and shut that thing down for 51 days. And at the end of 51 days, when they put out rumors that I was going to organize to bomb the store, I engage in a business or buy from a business that so disrespects a grandmother in your neighborhood. And when I called it off after 51 days, and I suspect that particular owner, that pizza shop, and we were on case and on location in terms of where we need to be. Just like I said back in the 1980s, that business had forfeited its right to operate in our neighborhood. We have to teach some lessons.
That's right.
And the way to teach a lesson is that pizza shop, all of them should never be able to open up in Washington, D.C. again.
That's right.
But we don't have an organized front to move. We don't have that kind of power. Let me say something about white people for a minute. When we understand who they are, it dates back, I'm going to give you a quick overview of why we're in this predicament right now. Brother said a moment ago, if you don't understand that you're at war, and don't understand the consequences of not understanding that you are at war. In 1491, and you know that just a couple of weeks ago, in most cities, they celebrated Columbus Day for the founding of America. And some of you would say, well, that's a lie. It is a lie, but to them, it's the truth.
Right.
Because in 1491, Pope Nicholas issued the doctrine of discovery. And he said, white people, anywhere you go, if the people, or rather the not people because they didn't deem them to be people, but anybody you find there who is not white and not Christian, that is a land that has not been discovered because they are not human beings. And so, based on their definition, when Columbus came to America, because the Native Americans were not considered to be human beings, based on their definition, the doctrine of discovery, then they conclude that no one had ever discovered America, and so Columbus indeed did discover America. Same thing occurred in 1606, just to give you a brief history. 1606, when King James, the same King James that authorized the King James Version of the Bible, saw the poor whites who were thieves and robbers and pimps and prostitutes and beggars laying around on the streets of England. And he said, we got to get rid of these offscourings. Offscourings means human waste. That's how they thought of poor whites. And they said, he got together with some rich whites, some oligarchs, and he said to them, put some money up in partnership with me and go to America and set up a colony of white Christians, white synonymous with Christian, which is why you see the so-called evangelical Christians siding with Donald Trump, because they have the mentality that was developed way back in 1491 that still prevails today in terms of seeing you and I as less than human beings. And that, so when they brought these poor whites to America, so filthy, so nasty, so ignorant, so dirty and nasty, they came here and they said, look, you come to America and you work for us. Talk about these poor whites now. They call them crackers. They label them crackers. They say, crackers, y'all come to America and work for us for 7 to 11 years. And then we will give you your freedom. But they were so lazy, and so nasty, and so filthy, and so uncouth, and so unintelligent, they wouldn't work. And then they found those industrious ancestors by which on another continent about, and brought them here to America. whites were outnumbered by the blacks and the poor whites. So the poor whites and the blacks began to collude together. They said, look, they pimped us, but we can take this land because it's more of us than it is of them. And the poor whites and the blacks joined together to fight against the rich whites who had established the colonies in Virginia and in Annapolis. And when they did so, they, rich whites said, well, look, we can't have this. So they told the poor whites, you are better than them. They are niggas, and you better than them. So they have lived by that from that day until this day without understanding who they really are in terms of the few rich whites who control everything in this country. So now let's jump to DC for a minute. I'm going to wrap this up and be through so that you can understand. What you see going on in Washington, D.C. did not just come about over the last several years. This was planned and organized 40 years ago. There was a beautiful sister from Chicago named Barbara Sizemore. I keep these things. This is a paper that she wrote in 1974. A black liberation educator from Chicago came here to be the head of the Board of Education. She was so prophetic in this paper. She gave this paper, and in the paper she talked about the fact we have a majority black city council in this city. She said, we have a black mayor in this city. And so maybe this time, what happened, this is why you need to know history. What happened 104 years ago won't happen again. You do know there were black leadership officials here in Washington, D.C., Frederick Douglass, Solomon Brown, and others. And they were running this city very effectively. She says in this paper, when foreign matter invades a people, they must find a way to expel that foreign matter. And so she documented how in 104 years previous, in 1975, when she wrote this, she said they had to find a way to prove that Frederick Douglass, Solomon Brown, and the other black leaders were inept and ineffective and inefficient leaders. And so how did they do that? The federal government ran D.C. as it continues today by giving a federal payment to the district. They said we will cut off funds to the district, just like they did in Marion 100 years or more before, and therefore they will not be able to function. Then we will say they are inept, they are inefficient, they are ineffective, and we will remove them and replace them with whites. Barbara Sizemore said maybe it won't happen this time because we got a black city council. Most of them are civil rights veterans. And maybe they won't let this happen this time around. But because we were not astute and not aware that white people's goal always is to keep black people from rising.
That's right.
And so what did they do? They began to show that Marion Barry, that the blacks on the city council were ineffective, inefficient leaders, found many ways to do that. Kwame Brown did what many of you were told to do by your real estate agent. Say that you have another job other than the job you have so you can boost your income. And that's what they used to get him off the council and send him to jail. Yeah. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Marion Barry to entrap him out of a personal problem, an issue that he had, so they could remove him from office.
he did.
And then as we look, even today, and let me just say this before I go here. Let me share this paper with you. Brother was talking about how many blacks were moved out of this city who were made middle class by Marion Barry. Many days I walked the streets of Marion Barry, and he did cause the budget to be in bad shape, because he would walk down the street and ask a brother or sister, you got a job? They said, no. What can you do? Go downtown and tell so-and-so I said give you a job. And that's how many got a job. But in terms of the housing,
Right.
this is an article from 1974. Some who've been here long enough, you know that Thomas Owen was the president of Perpetual Savings and Loan. 1974, he wrote an article. He said that too many low-income blacks in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
He said they don't pay enough taxes. So we have to replace them. And when he said low-income blacks, you know what he was talking about.
Right.
And we're going to build houses in Maryland that are bigger and cheaper. How many black people do you know who said to you, I'm moving to Maryland
Not too many.
because I can get a bigger house
Not too many.
and it costs less money than living in the district? When he made this statement, 3 people stood up. Marion Barry, Nathan Winter was on the council, and myself, called him for what he was, a white racist. And how dare you say black people have to move out because you want to move back? You voluntarily moved out, and now you want to come back. But this was the plan. And of course, everybody else on the council said, no, it's not, he didn't mean that, it wasn't that. But as you look today,
Yes, it was.
in 2024,
A whole lot of blacks.
you see that exactly what was planned took place. Let me say one more thing about Barbara Sidesboard.
Who's the
Barbara
mother?
Sidesboard was at a meeting. Listen, don't forget who white people are, whether you call them liberal or conservative. When it comes time for them to be in charge and on top, it's the same deal. So she was at a meeting on the city council when they were trying to get rid of her. We had a rally. She said further, she said in this paper, they're going to get rid of all of the tenured black teachers who know how to educate our children and replace them with those who have no tenure. Did it not happen? 300 black teachers who had tenure were relieved of their position and got it so they could replace them. And when all of that took place, she said there was a meeting on the city council. There was this liberal white council person, and there was this conservative council person. And the liberal council person wrote a note to the conservative council person, but the note was dropped and left on the floor. Barbara Sidesboard got it. The note said, I have to leave this meeting. Is there anything else you need me for before I leave? I know it's going to take us, she said, about 30 years to take this city back, but we will get it done. So that everything that you see going on right now, give me 2 more minutes, don't finish, please. We are looking at 3 50-year anniversaries. 50-year anniversary of crack cocaine. There was a man by the name of Lyon West, the youngest head of the psychology department in the history of colleges in America. Lyon West became the head of the psychology department of Oklahoma State University. But he also had studied Hitler and Hitler's techniques in the use of drugs 1969 and met with Congress and NIH, he said, talking about young black males, we have to kill them or they will kill us.
That's right.
This was after 150 riots all over America. The worst of which was in Detroit, Michigan, where 147 black men were killed. And he went to Congress, he said, if you, NIH, if you give me some money, I will go to UCLA and we will create a drug that will mess up the minds of young black males, and it will only be, it'll be very cheap, $25, crack cocaine. And they went to UCLA and they created this drug, and one of his assistants testified at the trial of Robert Blake, you know, the actor who was accused of murdering his wife and who was a drug addict. And the assistant to Lyon West got on the stand and he testified in behalf of Robert Blake because he was trying to keep him from going to jail. He said, I know the effect of this drug because we created it in the laboratory at UCLA. And I tested it personally because I got in the cage with a rhesus monkey. And me and the rhesus monkey freebase and smoke crack cocaine together. So I know what it does. And so they started out in Hates district of San Francisco. And they began to test it out in San Francisco. Rick Ross said when he heard about it, some thought $25, that stuff can't be no good. But the people were using it. So then he started using it. And then it spread all over America. I went to court about 2 years ago now for Rayford Edmonds. Rayford Edmonds was the $100 million drug kingpin in Washington, D.C. You know about him. And having spent these many years in jail, he was before the judge to get released. CIA was there, FBI was there. They said, well, he has given up enough people for us. Y'all ought to let him go. Then they brought me up on the stand to the judge. Judge said, Reverend, what do you have to say? I said, until you lock up Oliver North,
That's right.
that was given free reign to fly cocaine into Florida every day so it could be made into crack to distribute to black people.
That's right.
And if you're not going to lock up Ronald Reagan and Nixon,
That's right.
all both deceased at this point, but who orchestrated this so-called war on drugs, which was really a war on young black males.
Right.
If you're not going to send them to jail, the brother needs to be set free because he was just a tool being used by the United States government to destroy our community.
That's right.
Judge dropped his head.
That's all they do.
So they got to think about it. Guess what? Got a call from Rachel yesterday. He's in Texas in a rehab facility on his way back to the district very soon. Because the judge knew I was telling the truth.
Yes.
He knew what was happening. So that's the first anniversary, 50 years of that. Then he said, Leon West said, Congress, you need to pass some laws that will lock up black men for using this drug and selling this drug with long sentences. And Congress passed those laws. So we look now and see young black men with undeveloped minds who've been programmed by the second 50-year anniversary gangster rappers that teaches them violence. Some say Willie's story is not real, but Willie's story just as real and alive as it ever was, because the same way that he talked about pitting blacks against blacks based on how tall, how short, how straight or how kinky their hair, how light or how dark their skin was, the same thing is happening today with young black males.
That's right.
who've been programmed by the music. Let me give you one example. Everybody knows about John Morant. Great basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies. Just able to come back this year. Lost over $50 million in endorsements.
Yeah, John.
Everybody said he was a model person on and off the court. High school court. Coach, never a problem. AAU coach, never a problem. College coach, never a problem. But here's this article that came out after he got busted. Article said, and then the alligators got him. What they were talking about was when you are a star in the NBA, the owners and the coaches let you do pretty much what you want to do because you're making money for them.
That's right.
So what was he doing? Every game before the game, earplug in his ear, listening to Triple Red. The song was, I'm going down. I'm going down crazy. I'm going out of my mind. I'm going down crazy. I'm going out of my mind. And all of a sudden, here is John Morant listening to another rapper artist that was talking about killing and murder. This is what he's listening to all day. So what does he do? In a period of about 6 months, he has 9 incidents. He pulls a gun on a player for the Denver basketball team. He pulls a gun on a security officer at a mall. He pulls a gun on a coach at a high school basketball game that he went to. But here's the big one. In Triple Red's video where he's singing, I'm going down crazy, I'm going out of my mind. He goes to Triple Red, in the video goes to a strip joint. And he has this stripper sitting on his lap. And he's throwing money all over the table. And he's drinking plenty of alcohol. John Morant, when they pay the Denver Nuggets, goes to a strip joint, throwing money all over the table, drinking plenty of alcohol, repeating what he had heard over and over and over in his ears, day in and day out, in the car, on the basketball court, warming up, at home, all day, every day. That's the second 50-year anniversary. The third 50-year anniversary was a mass incarceration. That in 1970, there were only 300 black men locked up, and now the number approaching 2 million. My dear sister, Dr. Francis Wells said, when you take one black man out of the community, you have caused great harm to that community. But you start talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands, you can understand what has happened in our community, and it's deliberate and intentional. And until we understand the psyche of the European, who knows nothing but violence, when Thomas Jefferson was the president, 14 tribes of Native Americans. After he bought the Louisiana Purchase, he said, we got to take it all. You know that song, you sing, oh, beautiful from gracious skies, whatever. At the end it says, the last line, from sea to shining sea. Song written by a man, a newspaper writer who said, it's the white man's privilege, duty, and responsibility and destiny to rule the world. So we got to take all of America from sea, Atlantic Ocean, to shining sea, Pacific Ocean. That is exactly what they did. We read about the great escapades that took place and how they went about taking over the world and taking over America, and the great reports that Thomas Jefferson put out when he sent Clark on his expedition. You know, you heard about that. And he said, I want you to go to all 14 of these Native American tribes and act like you are their friend and find out everything you can about them. Look, I made these medals for them. Give each tribe a medal. But in the meantime, we're going to be organizing our forces so that we can go in and kill all of them and take the land. And then they went to Mexico and did the exact same thing. So if you don't understand what's going on, and you look at what is going on in this city, you understand that it's a lifelong mentality of white people in terms of their belief that they should control and dominate everything.
That's right. That's right.
Don't care if you don't have anything because you're not white and you're not a Christian. And those two words were used synonymously. And if you were not white and you were not Christian, you were not human. And because you were not human, we have a right to take your neighborhood. We have a right to go into your communities and build these big buildings that you see all around. Anybody could get a 5-year-old kid to build one of these buildings. If the government gives them a $600,000 TIF grant, which is a loan that you don't have to pay back, you don't have to pay no interest, because the whole idea is they're going to create so much real estate tax revenue over the years, it's going to more than never happens. Never happens.
Right.
But for people who've been here, when they built that building over there, I said to the council person, he said, well, this can't go through because I got leverage, I got to sign off. I said, well, damn it, don't sign off then. But what did they do? They took $1 million and came to the organizations in this community. Said, we're going to give this organization $30,000. We're going to give that organization $10,000. We're going to give that organization $15,000. Reverend Wilson, you get 10. I said, take it and stuff it. But that's the reality. So everybody was bought for $15,000, $30,000, $10,000.
Crumbs. That's right.
From the table.
From the table.
While all of this affluence and wealth, aliens who don't live here, who don't know anything about this community, building, taking over. Then what they did on top of that, I'm finished. What they do, you got to understand all. Do you know there were over 50 self-contained black communities in this nation? They wiped out every one of them. 8th Street in Richmond, 3rd Ward in Arkansas, Brownsville in Chicago, Seneca Village in New York. You know that the largest self-contained black community in America was in Seneca Village in New York, where now is Central Park. Because they pushed all those black people out and took their land and built Central Park. And this is how, and the primary way they do it, they did it in Georgetown. I told the people here 40 years ago. They built a throughway, that's one of the main ways, built a throughway right through the middle of the community. Did it in Georgetown, did it in Southwest, did it in Barry Farms. And then, if that's not enough, they raised the taxes. So it's a lifelong historical way in which white man has exercised his power, his domination and control. That's what it's always been about. From the time of Nicene Council in 325 AD, when that illusion of the teachings of Jesus called Christianity was combined with white supremacy to dominate and control the masses of people. So I want to say all that is to let you know that once you know what the deal is, then you understand what you are fighting against. That is not just some little one situation. That situation with that piece of shop, that's the mentality that says you're nothing. Don't care that you were the only person to become a mayor 4 times. Come out after you locked up. destroy your people's will and hope and aspiration so that they will focus all over. If we really understood what we are, we would shut down every one of those peaceful places forever. But in a few days, you know, when I shut that guy right down for 51 days, all the man had to do was open back up. He was making $1 million a year then. That was in the 80s. He's still there. He gave free half smokes, and a free drink, half price half smoke and a free drink for 2 weeks. And black folk been flocking in there ever since.
All right.
Come on, y'all. Get on your feet and give them a round of applause. Get on your feet. All right, y'all okay?
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear you. Are you okay?
Yeah.
That's some tough news, right? Our history can be some tough news, right?
Yes, sir.
But guess what? You ain't got no choice. We got to take the medicine, and we have to stand on our feet, and we have to fight back. You cannot retreat. Is that understood? You cannot retreat. Our job is to give you a level of organization and leadership that gives you confidence that if you don't retreat, that you have a way forward, okay?
Okay.
Now you gotta understand that that message you heard is a rare and divine message in this community. You don't have a man or a preacher in this city that have preached this to you, and you won't get it again. You understand that? The messages that you get from this rostrum tonight, the guidance and the plans that you get from this rostrum, we cannot take it for granted because it's all we have left. If you knew what was coming after this without this, you should be in fear. Okay? So I don't want you to pass out from the medicine, from the rough news of what's going on. Okay, so stick with us. I want to bring on to you next, and then we're going to engage this panel. Because this panel is a panel of action. But I want to bring on to you next a veteran preacher in this city, a tireless advocate for the poor, a tireless advocate for our people, a tireless advocate for our tenants, a tireless advocate for our people, the Honorable Reverend Grady Hackett. Let's receive it.
I won't be too loud. My voice has changed because cancer has seized my voice. And I've been going through treatment. And right now, I see some light at the end of the tunnel. In other words, I have a voice that will be restored.
All right.
And so I'm standing on faith, and I'm declaring victory.
That's right. That's good.
I just want to say this because as you talk about gentrification, if you recognize in this city there's corporate money that's been fueling the flipping of property in our neighborhoods and the escalation And I don't want to move there. And after they were there, the foundation collapsed. And the city said, we're not responsible. Nobody in the city claimed responsibility for homeowners having to pay a mortgage on property that they couldn't live in and rent. I started an organization almost over 40 years ago called NACA. We stepped in after the city said they couldn't do anything. And we got all of the mortgages canceled. Just simply wiped off the books so that people can start anew. Interesting enough, the city got mad at us because we did that and stopped talking to us because we got money, billions of dollars, and we can offer it. No money down, no closing. I mean zero closing. It's not financed in. No loans. Always 1% below the market. And we were saying that HVAC money and EVAC money will go further if you utilize that model. The city's not interested because there are all kinds of people that get their hands in the cookie jar who don't live here, got no investment here, and would rather see us be pushed out of this city. We've also developed the ability to build housing. Can you hear this? Housing at $85 per square foot. Calculated. That means 1,000 square foot house is $85,000. But about $100,000. We're doing it in Newark. We're doing it in Montgomery, Alabama. You think the DC want to hear about it? Hell no. Because they still want to make sure that the developers make their money and the rest of us are just financially messed over. So continue to fight on. That's what we got to do. Fight on and fight on. When I came to my church on North Capitol, Exxon was building a gas station. And everybody was just rolled over, the gas meters and all. And I mean, not knowing who it was. It was Exxon, but I didn't know. Grabbed two guys off of Kennedy Street. And we went over with baseball bats and stood in front of the bulldozer and said, you better call the owners of them. We didn't know it was the owners, it was the Exxon Corporation. And they flew in and offered all kinds of money. And we said, no, it's about community empowerment. What this community kept saying was that they wanted housing for the elderly, so that people who lived in the neighborhood, raised their children in the neighborhood, would not have to leave the neighborhood. Well, Exxon warehoused that property for 10 years. And they had every preacher up in Northeast, Northwest, called me to tell me that I was stupid, that you can't beat Exxon. And I had to remind him, I said, go ahead and cash the check, because I know you've been paid. But I want to do this because the community wants this. How I ended up with the property was, 10 years later, I got a call from somebody who said they were going to build on that lot. And I said, why are you calling me? I don't have no contract on that property. You need to call Exxon.
he said, well, that son said I need to call you. I said, well, I have no idea. So the brother came in with two white people in tow, white man in tow. And the brother introduced himself. And the white folks didn't have anything to say, didn't even tell me their names. And he started just talking and talking. And the final thing I said to him, I said, look, it was a community meeting that blocked that song. And I'll be happy to call a community meeting. But first of all, I need to see your corporation papers. I need to see where your investment dollars are coming from. I need to see all those records before I call a community meeting. Guy says, back, you can hear from us by the end of the week. And he got up and he put a big envelope in my hands. And I looked in the envelope and it was filled with $100 bills. And being a little stupid, I said to him, no. I told you I need your incorporation papers. Who the investment, who are the investors? Where's it coming from? That's what I need. I don't need your money. And I pushed it back at him. About an hour later, it dawned on me that those two white guys were cops. They were waiting to see me take the money. Because a couple days later, I get a certified letter from Exxon offering to sell me the property. We bought it. We built it. We believe it. It's entirely subsidized so that people can stay in their community. We can win any battle if we stand up with courage.
That's
If
right.
we dare to fight and dare to believe that we can make a difference together. If we believe that, we'll win it.
All right. All right.
Come on, it's better than hell of a odds. And we take a stand. Come on, video. Give it up for Reverend Dad. Honor him for what he's doing. Honor him for who he is. Honor him for his courage.
Yeah.
Even when under personal trial, he's standing strong.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank the Black Panthers who are up here with me and all around. Come on, Pastor Ted. Have a seat up here, Pat. Have a seat up here, sir. You know, y'all with me?
Oh, yeah.
Can I hear you? Like Paul?
Black Power. Black Power.
Which means self-determination. All right, now look, let's get down to business here. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
We can't waste your time here. It's a critical night. But there's hope. When you got elders that are this wise, and you got this kind of information and resource, and I would say divine backing, because African philosophy teaches us that our qualified elders are the closest thing to God.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's right.
God is here. Our opposition party is here. Our opposition movement is here.
That's right.
A provisional government is here. A non-elected representation of people that you can trust is here.
That's right.
Brother Freeman, can you come down, sir? I want you to come in, sir, because you critical here to getting us some decisions. I love very much. He don't mind me telling this story. Do you mind?
No.
But he exemplifies what I think as black men in this city, what we need to be about. And he know I got him off the streets panhandling on New Hampshire Avenue. And he was in bad shape.
Yeah.
And we have focused on him ever since. We got him in our program. We got him off the streets. We took control over all his money, so he don't even have control over it. He is no longer panhandling. He don't smell like he panhandling, and he damn sure don't look like it. My dear brother JC, stand on your black feet. Black men and women. He's off of the streets, and all he wants to do is come to another black meeting and take a stand. All right, now look, we're getting ready to get into this dialogue, right? Got one more speaker for you, then we got to talk with each other, then we'll let you go for today. But this is not just about complaining. We are forming an opposition movement, an opposition government. We have to have a government that we can trust that represents us. Okay, that's what Afrodescendant Nation is about. That's what Black Lawyers for Justice is about. That's what your brother Malik Shabazz is about. Now I want to bring to you one of my Howard University colleagues. He's the last speaker that I want y'all to engage us from this microphone, or we're going to walk through some of our plans. Brother Sinclair Skinner from I Love Black People. He's a very strong man. He's heavily rooted in the tech sector. He's been about black business all his life since he had the cleaners on Howard University campus. He's my brother. He's committed to the District of Columbia. He has something valuable to offer from his perspective. I want you to hear from the great Sinclair Skinner before we open up. Let's bring him on.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. Amazing dynamic, Brother Malik. And thank you all, and thank you, Pastor, for allowing us to use Union Temple. When I first came to Howard, as Malik said, I was in '94, and I came from Tuskegee University from Alabama. First thing my mom told me, because she was kind of scared of me being in DC, was get a church home. And Union Temple, I've been a member since like 30 years. So this is really a special.
Yeah. All right.
Every prayer I pray in this building has come true tenfold. I'm just very grateful to see me before you today, being so blessed. I'm just grateful. As Brother Malik said, my background is engineering, and I'm big in the what they call crypto space, blockchain, technology. As he said, I had 4 dry cleaners in Washington, D.C. before I went bankrupt. I went bankrupt in 2002. I started in '99, had one on Georgia in Fairmont, and one in Irving in Georgia, and then I had one in Rockville, and I had one in Judiciary Square. And sometimes I talk about economies of scale. You think you get one, maybe if I get 4, then I can get economies of scale. Now, if you don't get the first one right, the rest of them will be wrong.
Don't be wrong,
So
too, yeah.
You get 4 bad, and you don't figure out how to get it right. So I learned through the trials and tribulations of being in business here in Washington, D.C. And I also was an agency commissioner at the same time. So after I graduated from Howard in '96, I bought my first property right there on Georgia Avenue. And I literally, lived above it, and then we had the cleaners below it. And I just want to say that all those things has been, in that area, still a very big black community. A lot of people don't realize, the reason why Howard University doesn't have a metro that goes all the way up the hill to Howard. They didn't want so-called undesirables at the time to come that close to the campus. So literally, that's why you got to walk those 2 blocks to even get to Howard University. So even the vision and planning of how our communities are developed, we need to be more involved. We shouldn't allow someone else to make those decisions because no one's going to come save us. So, Booker T. Washington taught that. Cast your bucket down where you are. Take responsibility for your community and for yourself. And I think one of the biggest things from learning from Reverend Hagler as well as Reverend Willie Wilson, how can we collectively organize in the modern era in 2024 and learn the lessons of Black unity that we literally stand on the shoulders of so many great people? And one of the things, our brother Obi Abuna, he's a native Washingtonian, mentored me in the way that I actually do business in Zimbabwe, in the Caribbean, South Africa, all over the world. And one of the things he talks about is generational chauvinism. He said that every generation has something to contribute. Whatever people say about the young folks now, they said about the young folks back in the day. We all have something to contribute. And at being 55, I think I've made it to my last chapter. But literally, we all have something to contribute. It's us our ability to try to figure out what that contribution is. And I think one of the things that's key is how we leverage this technology. Even though we talk about DC and how people have moved, they didn't move to Idaho, they moved to Suitland. They moved, like literally, if you look at this area, this is probably the highest concentration of Black, educated, self-determined, affluent, as well as disposable income and disposable time. I say disposable time because you can have money, but if you don't have time, it's hard to move. But we probably have the highest, I'm talking about in the world, I've been over 60 countries. This area probably has the highest concentration of Black people who know what it means to have Black people who can work in every aspect of human activity. From doctors to dentists to this area right here. So we don't have to go somewhere else, we're right here. And those borders that they call, the district or Prince George's County, those are created by human beings. There's nothing natural about them. So we need to understand that who we are and how we can organize shouldn't be confined by political geography that really is not in our interest. When I'm in Africa, I talk about how none of these borders in Africa were created by Africans. They were created by Europeans. So us respecting these fictions or these man-made things, it's not even reasonable. So when we start talking about how we organize, technology gives us some ways that we can organize that we didn't have before. That we literally can create community and deal with some of the most wicked things that are happening to us. And as we talk about things like TikTok or some of the things, the attacks that we see on our leaders, this social media and the corporate media, we have the power now to create and develop our own corporate media. When I hear people complain about the misogyny and the violence that they see being proliferated in social media, they make it seem like TikTok was created by some Martians. No, they were created by developers. And guess what? We got Black developers too.
That's right.
It's about taking our minds to solve our problem. I've been to Silicon Valley. Again, Silicon Valley and Alabama are the same place. It's people who would never give Black folks an opportunity to be invested. If you look at the startups, none of them have been funded with Black founders. It's just like Alabama. There's no bank, European bank in Alabama that's going to fund Black business. But they obviously, they make it look so sophisticated in Silicon Valley, but literally for the last 20 years, like less than 1% of all the startups that have received venture capitalist funding, it's like less than 1%. Like it's almost intentional, not even 1 year did it go above that. So this is consistent, but we don't have to go to Silicon Valley. We got a special place right here in the DMV with the highest concentration of Black educated people, that we can literally leverage this space that we're in right now to build anything that we want to. If we use what Brother Lincoln's talking about, self-determination, we have to decide that we're going to have the schools that we want. And now, if you think about technology, they always talk about Airbnb, the largest hospitality industry, and they don't even own hotels. Now just think about that concept, that literally we can create institutions without having to pay so much money for brick and mortar. But again, it's about us working together. That's the part that's the secret sauce of all this. And I think there's a real opportunity that we have
to set an example, not just for each other, for many communities all around the world. This area, the DMV area, if we don't get this figured out, we can't figure out how to keep our children from being murdered in the streets. If we can't figure it out right here, it's probably going to be hard in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking Cincinnati. I'm just saying, to have this amount of the best of the best of the best of the best of the generations right here in the DMV, we just have to be determined. We have to be deliberate. And I'm not knocking politicians, but even with the election coming up, you know, probably Terray talked about there's a difference between organizing and mobilizing. We can leverage all these opportunities to mobilize, no matter what happens November 5th, November 6th, we're going to wake up in the morning, take a shower, do all the things we do, we got to go to work regardless of wins, right? We got to keep organizing.
Right.
We got to stop this disjointed thing where we just organize right around election day and then we go back to sleep. The person that we got to hold accountable is ourselves. 365 days of the year, not just one day. And that accountability means that we all should have our agenda at heart. No matter who wins, they're still supposed to represent you.
That's
and
right.
we have to be the ones to hold whoever wins accountable. And that accountability, again, starts with us. So again, even if when I say agendas, because your number one, my number one agenda is reparations. That might be your number three. Your number one might be gun violence. You know what I'm saying? So just because gun violence is your number one, my number one is reparations, that don't make us enemies. That don't make us disagreeable. We when you get around to your number two, let's get together, and then when I'm around to my number one, we work it out. We don't have to, Booker T. Washington said we can be separate like the 5 fingers on the hand, but literally work together. We don't have our unity, we're already more unified than many groups of people. If you want to see some folks who didn't get it together, when the brother was talking about, our minister was talking about the Native American people, whatever you think about what we've gone through, we still here. Some people didn't make it through this white supremacy madness. Some of them, literally, the genocide took place and they're no longer here. But they've done everything to try to stop us. And guess what?
We still here.
We still got.
We're still standing.
Come on, listen, they tried everything. AIDS, crack cocaine, talk about that. Chemical weapons, biological, and guess what? We're still right here, the mountain right here, and we're like, listen, we still got stand. We still got, you can't tell us nothing. But all that we've been through still can't tell us nothing.
That's right.
So my point is, their days are numbered. That behavior, that white supremacist ideology is unsustainable. All that murder, I was in the border of Ukraine about 2 years ago, right? About 2 weeks after Russia had invaded Ukraine. And I've always been around, again, groups of folks as Pan-Africanists talking about things like white supremacist ideology must be destroyed. In my mind, I thought it was going to be black folks destroying white supremacy. I thought that. But when I saw them Europeans fighting each other, the Ukraine and the Russia, and they're the same Slavic people. They're the same tribe. Now, the Germans and the British, these are dramatic tribes, whole different tribes. That's why they don't have the same connection. Why all these people are getting killed over there, they don't have a problem. There's a disconnect. But what I realized, they're going to probably kill themselves. Like the violence that they bred and continue, they're probably. The question is, what are we going to replace this white supremacist ideology with? What are we going to do collectively? Again, not in the same line, but what are we going to do to replace this thing? Because that thing is what brought us what? Pollution, global warming. I mean, if you think about what the world was like before they left those I don't want to say caves, but left so-called Europe, they went around. There's a book that Hugo Chavez gave Barack Obama before they killed him, called Open Veins of Latin America. And it talked about how the European underdeveloped the world. They said that the reason why we use a horse as a beast of burden, because their back is very strong. We use them for their back because that's the most useful part. But the most useful part of a human being is what?
Brain.
Now listen, before I got married, I thought it was a brain, but then somebody taught me, you didn't get married because of your brain, you got married because of your heart. But let's go with the brain.
Yeah.
But when you
like
human
that.
being to a beast of burden, you just eliminated their most powerful contribution. And what they did throughout the world was literally subjugate some of the best and brightest people throughout the world to pieces of burden. So literally this so-called colonialism was literally drove the civilization backwards, not forward. This whole industrial revolution is a myth. What they gained their power from was not from the steam engine, it was from literally selling us and stealing people's land. That can't be sustainable. Whatever God you pray to, definitely ain't gonna bless that. So we have to determine what we're gonna do with this space. And I will say this, because of what we've been through, what we know, what we've shown each other, or should have shown each other by now, that we're unstoppable. Now it's time to take that energy and figure out how we collectively can take all of our experiences and leverage it to build that place that we want to have. So I think in a very optimistic way, those days that you see, on even the stuff you see on TV, that's lashing out of a dying age. That is unsustainable. They're not going to, it may not be even another 10 years. But the question though is, what are we going to do through our black unity? What are we going to do? And that's if you call yourself black, African, FBI. I don't get into the title. I know race is a construct. I know there's no science really in it, but racism is real, right? White supremacy ideology is real, and they kill people.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So being with that clarity, however you get here and what you call, as long as we know that we should come together, and if they're doing deliberate things to hurt us, we should be doing deliberate things to protect ourselves. Thank you.
All right.
Come on, y'all, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Let's give it up and let's focus in for a minute. All right, good time now.
You ready?
All right, so we got good time now. Now don't go nowhere now.
Right.
Because this is not a panel. This is not a panel. It's not a panel.
Yeah.
We didn't have panels for years. This is a government meeting. But either we're going to have our own representatives, our own government, and our own movement, or we can give it up. We've had enough information. And we need to continue to gain information. But our information has to be specifically fused towards our liberation here, or it's over. This information is not translated in a form that will solve our problems and give us confidence that our problems can be solved, so that we can win over this area and other areas around here, then we have not met our mark. And so I don't consider these persons here panelists. I consider them part of an opposition movement or government that is necessary to work together as your unelected officials to do better than these sorry elected officials that claim to be representing us, that don't represent us at all. We don't have no representation. But we have it. All right, so we're going to open up, right? We're getting ready to open up, so we can conduct this black government session. This is a black government. And you are part of it. Some of you who are the strongest ones. You're not just a participant, are you?
No.
You're a revolutionary, is that right?
Yes.
You're dissatisfied, is that right? That's right.
Yes, sir.
Elijah Muhammad said that the dissatisfaction is the mother of change. So we're dissatisfied, we're angry. But for change to come, there has to be a strategic method to go about that change, okay? So that we ain't just giving you some strong facts and some knowledge and information and we disperse back in the community and the white man keeps rolling through here like a bulldozer. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so stick around. We're going to take it one step further. We're going to take it a step further so we can get our job done here. Our job tonight is to solidify this opposition movement. solidify this provisional government, solidify that the program of Marcus Garvey can live in the black community, solidify that the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad can live in the black community. We're telling you to tell you that we believe that the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad can help remedy this problem in the black community if we adopt it and if we help you get there. That everything here on the east side, east of the river, it should be all dominated and controlled by black people. Did you hear what I said? I mean, nothing should go on east of the river unless it's dominated and controlled by black people. Is Malcolm X teaching real or is it just rhetoric?
Real.
The politics of the black community must be controlled by black people. That's black nationalism. The economy of the black community must be controlled by black people. That's black nationalism. That's Malcolm teaching, ain't it? Is that rhetoric or is it okay to become reality? Yeah. Because if it's not reality here, it ain't going to be reality nowhere. And so a quick story that I want you to hear from Pastor Sutton, our ally from Baltimore, before he moves on. He's got to move out of here. But I want to give you just one example of how we taking action here, okay? Nelson Place. We were faced with a similar situation that many black people are faced with here. We didn't have to grow now. Matter of fact, she's a McKinley Tech graduate. McKinley Tech graduate. She's going on the Fashion Institute of Technology. She's getting all A's up there, and she's an excellent product of DC Public Schools.
Yes, sir.
Excellent product. She called me, so I'm going to get off this mic and give it to Pastor Ted. So let me say this. Look, on Nelson, this is an example of how we're trying to link this together. And that's why I brought these other giants up here, because they're going to help us. Brother Freeman and Brother Ali, two of the strongest men in the community. So on Nelson Place, we were faced with what? My company has a business on Nelson Place, serving persons in need, right? And so the shooting got so bad over there that it was threatening a couple of things. The shooting got so bad, it threatened us doing business, and it also just threatened me as a person, as a black advocate. Because I'm all across this country, right, advocating for black people, teaching for black people, fighting for black people. But I'm saying at home here, I'm at home, and the block is getting shot up, and the business is looking shaky. The employees' windows just shot out of their cars. And I looked at the situation and I said, how in the heck am I in all these other states? And I'm fighting and helping them to stand up. And right here under my own feet is the damn wild, wild east. And so we said, the heck with that. Right over here, across Pennsylvania Avenue, we said we're going to take this block back first. That it will not be called Nelson Place, it's going to be called Marcus Garvey Way. It's going to change the name of it. We're not going, and we are going to establish this program of black nationalism and self-determination on the block. There's a liquor store on the block called O'Connor Liquor Store. Brother Freeman will tell you about it. He says that there are too many liquor stores in the black community. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. And this liquor store is an enemy to our block because it attracts everything that we don't want on our block. And what the heck do we need with a liquor store on our block when there are babies and mothers and elders here? What the heck do we need with another liquor store here that's destroying the block? So we went on the attack against the liquor store to shut the liquor store down, and we're still else did we do? We took one of the buildings that we have, and one of the rooms that we have, and instead of using it for private interest, we said that we're going to convert the unit to the Black Community Resource Center so we can get rooted in the block, help the people on the block, help the men on the block, clean up the block, befriend the block, and lay a base to bring down that liquor store. So we have established the Black Community Resource Center on Thursday nights, and on Thursday nights, black men, many of them who you will see are there teaching and organized, and the block has gone from being known as the Wild Wild West. The block, slowly but surely, is becoming civilized. Slowly but surely, is absent trash, absent blight, and is being known for black consciousness. Mr. Hahn, who owns the liquor store, is Korean owned and Indian ran. I don't know where Mr. Hahn lives, but he don't live here. He owns the liquor store, the next door, and the next door next door. We say this. We have told Mr. Hahn, him and his liquor store time is up.
Yes, sir.
That your liquor store is going to go out of our community. We're not saying it should go. It's going to go. By one means or another, it's going to go. And in place of it, we're going to establish our community center in the place of his liquor store. And he's going to give up the property. Did you hear what I said? You're going to give it up. You're going to sell it, or you're going to give it up one way or another. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
This is what we determined right over here. We are going to have a healthy restaurant and a community center instead of this sorry liquor store, and we're going to clean up this area called Randall's Heights over there and make it good for black people, and not some sorry so-called ghetto. And that's what we're working on. Okay, so we'll get back further, and we're going to match all of this up. Before he leaves, I want you to hear a word of inspiration from Baltimore and about these youth in our community. Because right now we are ashamed when we hear a 5-year-old girl got shot, a 3-year-old got shot, a 6-year-old got shot. Pamela Smith, the MPD director, says, Commander Smith, and where's the black man? Okay, so let me let you hear a word of inspiration about how we're going to deal with the youth problem in terms of our government. And then we open up our panel. You got questions here, we're going to get into our government section, our black government, if you got time. We rarely meet, but we meeting tonight. I want to thank Janae. Where is she? She's in the back. I want to thank this black woman here who's unheralded.
All right. All right, sister. All right. All right.
She's dedicated to the Black Panther Party program, and you're going to hear from her because she's invaluable in our community. She is invaluable. Okay?
All right.
Pastor Ted, sir.
All right, Pastor Ted. All right.
Dr. Ted, sir. Happy to be my brother.
That's right. All right, Pastor Ted. Amen.
First, let me say that I'm so glad to see you here, but also I'm glad that God allowed me to be here.
All right.
See, I'm so glad that man don't choose who God want to use.
That's right.
And see, you know what? And this is something good to see a group of people that's like this, and so many soldiers, and so many strong citizens that are being. I run into a lot of people that, unfortunately, I consider them sometimes cowards. Meaning that, it's so, we can't let my place. But one thing I will say is that I was able to get a second chance, something that most of my friends did not get. Like one of my friends who I had to hold his brains in while the paramedics came. Or my other friend Chuck that's actually serving life plus 20 in a prison underneath the ground in Texas on something called no human contact.
Wow.
My other one, maybe Lil Nelly, who actually is paralyzed, head down, and he said he would never move anything below his neck. So what I'm saying is that the answer is going to have to come from us. The answer will not come from the mayor. The answer will not come from the next president. The answer has to come from within our community.
That's right.
I had to tell one of the pastors at one time, and he said, well, I want you to teach all of my people to do exactly what you do, to go around and go in the trap house and go into different places. And I said, well, I don't know if I can teach them to do what I do. And he said, well, I want to know, what is your edge? And I said, well, the edge is that when some of them brothers, and I said, when they look at me, they see that I'm ready to die for this. And I said, when you look at them and you see the teardrops on their eyes, when you see the tattoos on the face, when you see the rag hanging out the left pocket and everything else, what you see is that they are ready to die for what they believe in.
That's right.
I said, the problem is when they look back in your eyes, they see you not. So how are we prepared to let them die for what's wrong if you ain't prepared to die for what's right?
That's it.
And I've had an opportunity, I ended up actually getting the second chance. When they gave me that second chance, and I started going around working with Bloods in California, and Crips in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples in Chicago, Junior Black Mafia in Philadelphia, 94 Boys in New Orleans, 515 Boys in London, the Johnsons, the Burgers in the UK, and going all around the country. I've just been asked to come to Rikers Island, just in New York, just was in Richmond, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina last week. What I'm saying is that the answer has to come from us. And actually, I told the people when I was actually at that same one I was talking to that pastor, I told them, and I said, if you're not man enough to stand and fight for your children, you need to move to a city where women can protect. Because I'm not going to be that person. My son is over there, right here in the corner. He knows it, and I let him know. I want him to know when everything was going crazy. When people was talking about little girls being killed, when people was talking about everything, I want him to know that his father was taking a stand when it was happening.
All right now.
I wasn't on the couch with a remote in my hand, eating wings and talking about, oh, that's just a shame. If you look up my record, I ran in a burning building and saved a girl who was on fire. I caught a baby from the 3rd floor and gave the baby mouth to mouth. I actually stopped a carjacker from carjacking somebody, and he had a 357, and I went hand-to-hand combat for somebody I didn't know.
All right. All right. All right.
And right in Baltimore, in Park Heights, they had 7 liquor licenses in a block and a half around the corner from my father's church. And I wanted to know why was somebody else petitioning to bring another liquor license in a block and a half. With all type of perverted posters with naked women on top of the 40-ounce bottles. And then when you go inside, they actually had cream soda and 40-ounce bottles for children next to the 40-ounce bottles.
Wow.
Why do you think that you can do this in our community?
Can't.
And when you cross over Northern Parkway, which is the Jewish community, why don't you see it over there?
Hey.
And I asked the question, and in fact, the city council and the Jewish community said, we do have crime. I said, man, I didn't say you don't have crime. What you don't have is liquor stores.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it bothered me because I was pulling their signs down. I was going in there. I was getting the community to come together. I put together a petition and everything. And the bad thing about it, they came to my father's church and they offered me a check, and I turned it down. They offered me cash, and I turned it down. I told them you can sit down with the pastor, who was my father at the time, and I said you can hear our firm position petition about how we feel about what you're doing to our community. And if you want to put something in the offering pan, you can, but I don't want nobody to take no check, no envelope, no cash in my name because our voice is not for sale.
All right.
And that was something. The problem is, it's not enough of us.
Right.
It's not enough of us.
That's right.
And so the thing is, when I see those young men that's out there and they wearing the full mask, and I hate that full mask. Them E-Shiesty masks, I hate that mask. Because I'm looking at you too. But the thing is that how do we charge them for where they are if we haven't taken out a moment to teach them?
That's right.
You're right.
How you talk about a man not wearing a belt and you ain't get him a belt?
Right.
How do you talk about that brother that's out there jamming and you talking about, that don't make no sense. That, you're right, it don't make no sense. I had a building donated to me. I want to open up a multi-purpose center. But the first thing I did is I went to the drug court and I talked to some young guys and I actually said, look, man, I know what you're doing. I was like, I ain't here to judge you. I'm letting you know. I already been there, done that, wrote the book, started the movie. And I was like, but let me give you a second chance. He was like, well, what can we do? And I said, why don't you help us to fix up the building? Took two brothers and they said, well, look, we slinging for our OG. And I said, well, look, let me holler at the OG. And I told the OG, I said, look, you probably know my godfather, Little Melvin Williams from American Gangster. You may even know me as Crazy Ted before I became Dr. Ted. And I was just like saying, but let me try to take these two young brothers and see how we can work with them. And he, you know what the thing was, he had so much respect for the gangsterdom that I had been a part of, that he actually said, well, look, he said, as long as they don't join no other gang, and as long as they ain't out there slinging, they can work with you. And not only did he do that, he sent some of his other guys from his crew to come over and help fix up the building. And I said, what we need to do is get some black contractors, get actually some of these buildings that they complaining about that are so boarded up, and we need to actually have them to train some of these young brothers to fix the buildings up, and I say, and pay them a stipend as we work with them.
That's
to
right.
try to change the community.
Yeah.
And if you get the house and you don't get a chance to flip the house,
Right.
you gotta stay there and be a part of building up our community. Well, I'm tired of people coming in our community thinking you can do whatever you want to do and thinking that's going to be okay.
It's not okay.
In fact, I was one of the people mentoring some of Freddie Gray's family, and when it was going down, I had to stop. He was like, yo, if he dies, it's going down. And I said, well, look, let me share something with you. The officers that you may have had a problem with are going to be on desk duty. So I want you to do one thing. Don't make any decision out of anger.
Right.
And I said, because what's going to happen is it's going to be martial law, and the war is going to be right here in the projects. And nobody ever taught y'all about guerrilla warfare.
That's right.
But you know what? But when the riots kicked, I had people mad at me because I ended up getting the Bloods, the Crips, and the BGF, saying also to help, to surround their arms and protect some of the black-owned stores. And they said, well, why didn't you say some of the others? And I said, because it was a riot. That's why.
That's right.
So I want to say this in things. We have to try to make a change, but the change is going to have to come from us, and we can't be afraid of our children.
That's right.
Stop being afraid of our own children that's on the corner.
Yeah.
Because as you look at them and see them, there's somebody's nephew, there's somebody's son, there's somebody's little child that at some point they changed diapers and they put a bottle in their mouth. And why do you try to now say that they are a minister society when that minister society was a product of what somebody had invested in them? And a young man asked me, he said, well, why do you put time in me? And I said, well, my problem is that one day your son is going to see my son. And he's going to see my son and say, yes, sir, no, sir. And he's going to see him and shaking him. I taught him to shake a man's hand with a straw and look a man in the eye. I told him, I want you to put a belt on. He's going to say that he thinks he's better than me. He has a belt on. He's talking like his wife. And the thing is, he's going to run. I said, the problem is your son will want to kill my son. I said, but not because I wasn't there for my son, it would be because you wasn't there for yours.
That's right. Yep.
So I'm saying, so let me help you to regain that messed up situation that happened between you and your son, so I can help save your son and my son. And my name is Dr. Ted, Freedom Fighter 7, and I support that message.
All right, Ted. All right. All right, Ted. All right, Ted.
Come on, y'all.
All right, Ted.
Come on, y'all.
It's all right, like that.
We opening up the floor in our black government session. Could say that. Black Citizen City Council, I could say that. You ain't got another city council that represents you, do you?
No.
Does Angela also Brooks represent you?
No.
Let me be good for you. I'm just saying, real talk. No disrespect to the mayor, but does Muriel Bowles represent you?
No.
Does Robert White represent you?
No.
He ain't Robert Black, is he? All right, so let's get serious here. This panel is gonna help, because I want to know, do they believe as I believe, that by organizing, by practicing self-determination, by forming our own structure and opposition movement with specific objectives, can this work? Can this crisis be turned into a model for self-determination, community control, black power? That's what we want to know. And this dissatisfaction in this situation be turned around. I believe so, but I don't even know if my panelists agree. Before I go forward, I want to say this. Did y'all get this piece of paper that says Afrodescendant Nation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you get it? If you didn't get this, raise your hand. Mr. Queen? Okay, because I see us half didn't get it. Somebody with us. Okay, half didn't get it. All right, Brother Imam, when you get a chance, I want everybody to get this. I need to read this, but this is the other one that says Afro-Descendant Nation. Because this is part of our purpose, is understanding who we are. This is a reparations national and international organization we are a part of. We're building a coalition government around the country and in this area. That's the Afro-Descendant Nation. Look, we're calling here, we're trying to build a self-determination skills bank. A self-determination skills bank. That's why I want you to have this so you can call if you qualify and register. What does it say? He said we want black contractors. How many black contractors out here? You contractor? Contractor? You're a contractor? All right, I need to see me some black contractors. Because I didn't hire too many brown contractors. Oh, it's true, ain't that right?
Yes, it is, true.
And I be on top of Leon every day. Saying, Leon, why you ain't none of that drama? And I got to go out here and pay my man. I'm not putting you on the spot.
I know, you good.
I love you.
I love you too.
I say, Mr. Wood, I got to go out here and pay Mr. Morales to over years and years. I got to pay Mr. Morales again because I can't get my own brothers to do it. I just had a contract I just cut on a one bedroom apartment. Needed it fixed up fast. Needed everything. Needed the floor put in, paint the drywall, get me ready for inspection. I had a brother come. He was a good man. I met him. I mean, we had good reports. I finally got me a black contractor back. Boy, I got time for
inspection. My man missed the inspection. He told me he couldn't get an Uber to the job. This is my brother. Now, I love my man. I said, bro, you didn't tell me that you didn't even have a truck.
Right.
I need me some. We're looking for black contractors. We are looking to sign up here. Black educators in this effort. We're trying to get structure here. We need black educators that are committed to our cause. You're an educator, raise your hand. We need you to take this and sign up. We need black activists. How many of y'all are activists? You're an activist, you ain't an activist, this ain't even the place for you. Black youth groups, any of y'all run youth groups? You got experience with directly dealing with youth? Formal experience, it's not a lot. Black elected officials, none of them here. Any ANC in here? Got our man running, we're gonna hear from him in a minute. We need black medical professionals. We got any RNs, LPNs, doctors, or CNAs in here? It's all right, we ain't got them, we can get them. I see you. I see you, talk about it, okay? Well, we need you to take this and sign up with us. We're talking about building a structure here. We're talking about getting a nation-building structure in place. Black lawyers, okay, I'm one, and I want to bring you greetings from that great attorney fighting for our people, Attorney Ari Teresa of Stoop Law. He gives you the greetings here, and I know some of y'all or others, they're blowing up my line, but they need legal help in every area. And I can't give legal help in every area. I'm fighting police brutality all over this country and in this area. But we need black lawyers. We need more lawyers, and we will solve the legal problems. Between myself and Attorney Ari and others, we're going to map out all the legal services that can help tenants, that can help brothers and sisters fight these problems, and we will have a legal answer. When you need a legal answer, we're going to work and find a legal answer.
Yes.
Until we can reach a long-term objective of getting more brothers to go to law school. It's absolutely impossible to handle the volume of legal calls that come to me. Some of which are not in my field, but I'm feeling it. So the attorneys are getting together here. We need black organizers, spiritual leaders, reparations advocates, small business operators. If you're a small business operator and you have a real business, raise your black hand in here.
Right.
Ain't enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's another thing. We ain't gonna get all off into it. We get into it later. The black people from this area, from this country, you're losing everything to others. Some of whom are black like you, but they're just not from here.
That's
But
right.
they're taking advantage and serving your people right here, and you don't have the contract. You don't have the job. You're not getting it. Your family is not getting it. But our other brothers and sisters, they are brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, from Africa, or they are right here in the district, and they are getting it. Don't lose hope. Just got to become aware of that fact. Black licensing professionals, we had some of them here today. Vocational trainers, contractors that can train others. We definitely need that because we're getting ready to get some contracting, training money to train some brothers. And I'll be embarrassed if I go and say, well, I ain't got no contractors.
to train nobody.
I'll be embarrassed if we say we're getting ready to start pressing for our share of this construction dollar and then ain't got no construction being to work with. That's not going to happen. Is that right?
That's right.
Black human services providers, therapists, Pan-Africanists, nation builders, marketing experts, defense and security experts, technology experts. We need you all to sign up so you can take your proper place as we organize this war. Now I come here to y'all. I'm going to start here with Miss Janae, I'm going to go down to Imam Ali and down the line. Is what we saying here a pipe dream? Is what I'm saying here just, is it too far gone? Is the war too far lost? And is what I'm saying conceivable and achievable? That's what I want to know. And if I'm correct, how do we make it work? Go ahead. Sister Jeanette.
Yes, it can work, but we have to have nations. We have to have a nation. We have to build our own nation.
Mike's not working.
We have to define clearly who we are. We have to have a nation backing us. We have to be our own Afro-descendant nation. We have to claim that. We have to really get into who we are and change our status. At this point, somewhere I read African American means food. Okay, how can we be from two different continents and be classified as a people? We have to claim our nation. All of this was possible. You know, I'm claiming my tribal indigenous. That's just me personally. That's me personally. I said I'm changing my status from African American to American Indian because we are the Indians that are indigenous to this land.
That's right.
That's one way we have it. See, they triggered us off our land by having us claim to be African American. What is that? You know, really think about it. Think about how many times they changed our names from Negro to color to whatever. You know what I'm saying? We have to have nationhood. If we don't have a nation backing us, none of this is going to be possible. We just got to come to an agreement on what nation we're going to call ourselves. And we have to build that. We have to start with the people in this room right now who know who they are and know what they can contribute to a nation. We have to be self-governing. We have to be disciplined. We got to be organized. You know, we can keep talking about this all day long, but if you don't have no action behind the words, then it's frivolous. So that's my take on that. And we do the work here in Washington, D.C. Imam Ali and myself, Sheikh Imam Akbar, Imam Ali goes out every single day and does something for this community. Picking up food, dropping out food. It might be minuscule to some people. You can eat McDonald's all you want to, but some people that's not an option. You know, it's not an option. This is a food desert here in this city, period, all over. It's not enough places to get food. You know, it's not enough people. And then when we try to go and help people, we get more opposition from each other. Why you feeding them bones? Why you feeding these crackheads? Why you doing all this stuff? These are the people that should be killing and robbing each other. They're gonna rob you. You know what I'm saying? What don't we have over here in Southeast that every other boy has? Think about it. We don't have no soup kitchens. There ain't nowhere nobody can go get a hot meal in this war period.
That's right.
Not even the churches. The churches don't open up and give free food away. We do. We give away free food every day. Every single day. Do we get donations from the community to help us support our ministry? No. We get cut off. Then we get cut off. We got cut off from the food banks because we were giving it to the people that needed it the most. They don't have the revenue or don't have access to even go pick up a burger from a drive-through. You understand? The senior citizens in our community are suffering. The youth are suffering. The people on the streets that walk past these restaurants, and they were like 2 or 3 of them over here. That's not no option for a decent meal. You know, so if you want to help somebody, help the Rashomon Community Center. Help the people that are already out here in the community that are doing the work. Build a nation starting with your family and the people around you, because that's what we feel. Everybody out there.
All right.
Now you heard that we got organizations and people here that are dedicated to providing relief to our people here east of the river. How many of you believe that what she said is necessary for our people in this city? You believe it's necessary?
It is necessarily.
Okay, so our job here is that we are going to put our efforts, the nation, Afrodescendant nation, right? And everything we do, we're going to put our efforts also behind you all's good efforts to feed people, so that when you're out there, you have more support and you don't have to say that nobody will donate or contribute, because we will organize and the persons that are here and many others, and we will help you to make sure that you keep going.
You ready to go?
Okay? Count that in the bank here.
Okay.
That those here that are serving relief and serving our people here, that we are going to keep them going. And we are going to support them. And if we ask you to support the free food programs here that we're giving out, will you support it? Raise your hand. Okay, that brings me to my next man. He's a freedom fighter. He's an imam of the community. When we started on Nelson Place to clean up our block, and we had our first free food and clothing giveaways, it was Imam Ali that came through with the most supplies. He came through with the free Pampers. He came through with the free chickens. Sorry, vegetarians. He came through with the free hygiene kits. And with the free supplies that he led with, what happened? The block, who did not understand how we were moving on the liquor store, they were halfway with us, but they halfway wanted that liquor store.
Right.
So we said we better back up and give them something and work with them so they'll understand why we were going after the liquor store. So we started to give and work our program on the block. It was this imam who every day was calling me saying, man, I got this for you. I got that for you. And was coming through with loads of supplies. And when we gave it out on the block's heart started to melt. And I'm here to tell you that can happen all over the city. Imam Ali. And when we talking rhetoric, are we talking rhetoric here? Or should we give up? Or can we make this plan work?
Okay, Assalamu
Alaikum salam.
The plan can work, and we made it work. Exactly what you're talking about now, over at Masjid al-Islam, under the leadership of Imam Musa, the spiritual guide of the Sabbath movement, we declared non-territorial government, meaning that we had a government inside of a government, and we just didn't have the territorial integrity. We didn't have land. What we did, we bought the masjid, paid for it. We bought the house next to the masjid, paid for it. We bought the house across the street, next door to the masjid on this side. We bought a house down the street. We bought a lot down the street. We bought a lot across the street. And we put our own little store there. And we had one rule, and I shared it with us downstairs. None of the members in our community would buy no food except for our store. And it was the responsibility of that little store to have everything that we needed. And across the street, a Muslim owned an apartment building. At one time, that apartment building facing that back door of the masjid, the whole unit was full of nothing but Muslims. And we took control of our neighborhood. So much to the point where people would come down there and get clothes. People would come down there and get food. People would come down there and hang out in the last year. You built a little basketball court out back for the youngsters. And everybody know that Bennett Terrace was called Simple City. Bennett Park on the other side. I'm talking about that door right there, Bennett Terrace, that door right there, Bennett Park. It's a store right here in the middle of it. And if we in that store, we from Bennett Terrace, Bennett Park, you better not come in there. And it was vice versa.
Right.
But they used to all sneak down on our basketball court and play basketball. The youngest did. Bennett Park and Bennett Terrace would come on the basketball court behind the mass gate and play. Why? Because we took control of the area. You got to man your post at all times, and when you're on your post, you have to secure it, and you have to establish authority there. And that's what we did in that neighborhood. Now, like they were saying, that apartment building, that's the complex on the top of the hill, they saw and knew that Masjid al-Islam was controlling the area. They came to us and said, man, we want y'all to endorse us to build that apartment, to remodel the apartments. We said on one condition, we'll get with you, but you got to hire all the young dudes in the neighborhood, those that are able to work. They said, yeah. The day that they started working, they didn't have not one person from our neighborhood on that hill. So the youngsters came to us and complained about it. Now, I wouldn't do nothing like this, but somebody told them. They said, look, y'all got to take direct action. All them cars and all them trucks up there, if they get flat tires and the windows get broke, I guarantee y'all get killed. And next thing you know, the dude was banging on the masjid door. Man, let me talk to y'all. Nah, man, we get ready to pray. Man, what time you gonna go pray? We can come back in an hour. Man, it's time for prayer. No, man, I need to talk to y'all. He said, I need a list of all of the young dudes that want a job. And he took them up there and gave them a job. But it called for direct retaliatory action for lying to us. See, it's not a riot. It's direct retaliatory action.
Right.
If you give me your word and you break your word, I want my hit back.
That's right.
You don't have no right to come out there and tell us that you're going to do A, B, C, and then you do X, Y, Z for somebody else.
That's right.
That call for direct retaliatory behavior. And sometimes they call for blood sacrifice. And it got to be your personal blood that gets sacrificed. This is where we got to go. Because, see, I said it downstairs. These people declared a war on drugs, they declared a war on black people, and they moved it straight to zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is the same thing that Hitler meant when he said we're not fighting a war. He said we're fighting total warfare. That means you take all the resources that your enemy can use, you take it. When you get a land or territory and you leave it out, you destroy everything and it leaves nothing for the enemy to use. And that's what they did to us. They didn't leave nothing for us to use. They didn't declare total warfare on us.
All right, man. You see, we got some force here. Is that right?
Yep.
We got a black man that means business. Is that right?
Yep.
And so, therefore, we got good representation east of the river, right?
Sure.
I don't know how strong the new Ward 7 City Councilman is. I don't know. But I know we got some strength up here. Okay? For the right call. We are looking for a fight out here. We're looking for a fight to win.
Right.
All right, let's move down the line here now. Sinclair. You're a smart man. You got national, international experience. Mr. Freeman, we'll come back to you, Brother Sinclair. You're right. Now, Brother Freeman, now you're an expert here. You're an expert He said, We Act Radio. You know, you're very well aware of what we're talking about and the odds that we face. Should we give up hope? Is there hope in what we're doing? If so, how should we proceed forward?
This past February, I was in Cuba, who has a superior healthcare system than America, by the way. How many of y'all know somebody that has had diabetic amputation? In Cuba, it's unheard of. They have treatment to prevent that from ever happening. And I asked the U.S. ambassador in Cuba, not to end the embargo against the Cuban people as they should, but why don't you allow the Cuban medicine to benefit the people in America? You know what he told me? We have to protect our business interests. It's in their business interest to keep cutting off black people's feet like Kunta Kinte and making money off these dialysis centers than for them to actually provide for your health care and benefit. But while I was there, I interviewed Alice Walker, Color Purple, and she told me that the greatest power is convincing people they don't have it. What needs to be done. We don't only have to tell you what should be done. Our real heavy lift is to convince you, all of you, that you have the power and the agency to do something. That is what you're going to have to personally walk away resting with when you leave here today. Do you believe that you have the power to do something, to change the system? And collectively, I hope you come to the conclusion that we do. I want us to make sure that we're very careful with what we ask for, though, however. Sometimes I hear people repeating things. Oh, well, we need to have more grocery stores over here. Well, do we want grocery stores that's serving us subpar products like we had before? Or do we want a co-op, a different business model where we actually have ownership? Right. And that the persons that are involved with this are involved with the entire ordering of the food, placing the food, managing food, distribution. We have to be willing to take charge. We have to be willing to step up and learn. There's a ballot initiative that's coming up next week. It's called Ranked Choice Voting. And one of the biggest complaints is that it's too confusing. That's insulting to me. I think it's condescending. We need to learn. If you don't know what ranked choice voting is, you can subscribe to React Real YouTube channel, do a whole deep dive on it. But real quick, more people voted against Muriel Bowser in the last election than voted for her. So how did she win? Because you got Robert White, Treon White, Barry White, Maurice White, all running against her, and that divides up the majority of the opposition vote, and that's how unpopular people stay in office, which is why the system doesn't want it. So you have to be cognizant of who you get your information from. You have to be cognizant of who is doing the talking, because it's now past time for us to question black leadership. Just because somebody look like you, don't mean they for you.
That's right.
Right? We have people that represent us, but they're not serving us. How many times do you hear them tell me, oh, they can't do that because it's not a black president, it's a president for everybody. Ain't we part of everybody?
That's right.
We here too, right? When are we going to get some deliverables? So now nobody's coming to save us, so applaud this brother and everyone that's with him for convening this, because there's one thing that I do know, that crisis creates opportunities. And because we are in the crisis, we have the opportunity to do things different. So they can't tell us, oh, we just want to bring the same development to east of the river that we seen in the rest of the city. We already know what that look like. They got to come with a different show. So what they do? Oh, this is the art district. We'll put up beautiful art pieces, to pacify you, make you feel comfortable. Get a couple businesses, and I'm one of the businesses that's benefited. My building got paid for because of DOPA, District Opportunity Purchase Act. Never been used before. Been on the books for a decade. Never been used before. But because DOPA DC got the natives restless, they wanted to pacify us. I want y'all to understand what goes down. We have to prepare to participate. That's Martin Luther King. Prepare to participate. All of us are going to have to learn a different muscle. And all of us are going to have to participate. And all of you are valuable. Your input is valuable. I'm going to close with this, and I'm sorry, I'm campaigning, so I got another event to get to. But I want to make sure I leave you with this. There's a community land trust, Douglas Community Land Trust. It's redefining what development looks like. Because we need to distinguish between community development and business development. We need community development. We need equitable development. And that's a word I should wrestle with, equity. All right? That's what we want, equity.
That's right.
All right? If you Google it right now, you see the definition between equality and equity. 3 boys trying to watch a baseball game, got no money, trying to look over the fence. Equality is to give each one of those little boys a box to stand on. But equity takes into account that they're at 3 different heights. So the tallest boy doesn't even need a box, and the shortest needs 2. We are here to cash an equitable check, but we're going to have everyone participate in order for us to get there. All right? So make sure you walk out of here believing that you can and will help change the system collectively. And I want to thank this brother again for making the call. Crisis creates opportunity.
Okay, hold 1 second. All right, we're making some progress. I know you got to go, but I guess what? We want him to win, is that right?
That's right.
We honor Eleanor Holmes Norton, but we all agree that she should have retired in 1998. Is that correct? Is that correct? I'm saying, I'm doing the talking. But hold on 1 second. Come here 1 second. I just want to let you know that whether he wants, I want him to win and he should win. But whether he wins that race or not, he represents us.
That's right.
In this city, and we have a relationship with him, and we are in meetings and dialogue with him, and what he says and what he desires and what we desire, we're putting it together so that it will come to pass. We're working in this together, okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, bro.
It's a government. Have a seat, brother. Have a seat at the table, sir. All right.
I'm ready to go.
I'm coming. Let me come to Mr. Muhammad, then I'm coming back to Sinclair. I want to know the Sinclair. I want to know, Sinclair, is this a dream? Is this a self-determination dream? Is this just a goddamn theory? I'm gonna want to know this, Sinclair. Is this a dream, or is this a theory, or is this finna be worked into reality right now? Mr. Muhammad, Najee Muhammad, representative of the Honorable Silas Muhammad and the Afrodescendant Nation. Afrodescendant Nation says that we want our people to be self-governing and have a government. I want to know from you, is this just rhetoric, or what we doing, can it be manifest in reality? And can our people here in this area achieve full and complete reparations? If so, how's it going to go down?
Our people can achieve full and complete reparations, but they must follow the right path, not the wrong path, but the right path to the United Nations. Unity is very important. We need unity among our people. Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Dr. King, Huey P. Newton, all of them left us a message about unity. And I'll tell you the truth. During the life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
he reached out to all of our people. Yes, there were Muslims that accepted Islam, but he wanted you to be able to do for yourself, control your own destiny, and have your own land. Land is the basis of independence. You can stay in another man's house, but are you really independent? Are you really controlling your own destiny? Elon Musk, I said this earlier, is worth $218 billion. He can give 49 Afrodescendants $1 billion each and still be a billionaire. This is my view. When you control your destiny, when you govern yourself, when you have your own land, that means that you're on your way to self-governance. This white man here in America, because I've seen it, the encroachment, the gentrification. I was born in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, and I heard that the airport was going to buy out the black community when I was a child. And it was a 50-year plan. And I went back home and this Caucasian had bulldozed the whole black community and gave the members of the black community crumbs for their homes. So it's a 50-year plan. Now, locally, yes, I agree. But looking down the line as a visionary, I want my own. Yeah, I think it's definitely real. I think that there's